Catalytic capital is used to support early-stage projects that, for various reasons, are not able to access conventional finance. For climate-related projects, catalytic capital is mainly used as a monetary incentive to encourage private investment.
There are a number of sources of catalytic capital or early-stage capital for climate finance projects. Often they can come from government or bilateral donor agencies. And these are often grants or technical assistance grants that are provided to bring down the cost of what it would take to kick off an investment or develop the capacity to deliver the work on the ground and structure finance.
Catalytic capital often involves blended financing, where the providers of catalytic capital take on more risk or accept a lower return in order to bring in more conventional investors.
The sectors or the types of projects that require blended finance are those that typically are not commercially viable, that have some kind of public good element in them. That could be adaptation to the effects of climate change, the benefits to populations, or it could be mitigation, which is the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions.
We are also talking about sector and transaction where you need time to reach the return on investment on those transactions. So here you will use a concessional loan or just even commercial loan, but with a long maturity. You will find them mainly in the sector of forestry, some also resilient infrastructure where you will reach the tipping point, but later on the life of the project. You will also need those kind of blended financing in transaction where the perceived risk is high, so where you will need the kind of de-risking instrument to allow private investment to come into those transactions. Those kind of instruments to de-risk will be guarantee, hedging instrument, for example.
Projects are utilizing blended finance solutions in all economies, even though they may not be explicitly called blended finance. And an example I would give would be the recent Inflation Reduction Act in the United States, which provides incentives to a large swaths of the economy with a particular focus of accelerating a green transition and creating an economy which goes in the direction of achieving net zero over a sustained period. Similarly, we have seen that when we are providing blended finance across different countries, the solutions that are required in, say, investment-grade countries such as Morocco or a Philippines or Indonesia would be very different from the blended finance de-risking solutions that are needed in low-income countries or fragile countries.
There are a number of challenges for securing investment in climate solutions, particularly astute in emerging and developing markets. The first one that you'll hear the most about is high perceived or actual risk of investing in those environments. Things such as political risk, risk of defaults, defaulting loans, which create diverse incentive to actually invest in these environments. High transaction costs. Quite often there is a lack of bankable projects. That these can be overcome through the likes of project preparation facilities and de-risking facilities.
I would say the key challenge is to recognize that different types of projects require different instruments, which in turn require different risk tolerance. We have a separate team looking at each blended finance project. The role of the team is to determine the most suitable instrument that would address a particular market barrier or challenge that prevents a project from happening, and then providing just enough concessionality to make the project happen without creating market distortions. And in doing so, the emphasis is on making subsequent projects in the same sector get access to financing on easier terms or better terms after this particular project has succeeded.
Yes, I think most importantly for government is to pay a lot of attention on the quality of the pipeline they are developing. To mobilize resources, you need a good and well-structured and bankable pipeline. So the time and the effort you put into the definition of your priority and sourcing the appropriate project and spend time to prepare it so they are attractive to private investor, it's a really important thing.
An added requirement would be to ensure that there are supporting regulations which are constant or consistent over time to ensure that investors feel comfortable in providing long tenor capital and are able to again make risk-adjusted returns from these projects which haven't happened before.